Thank you for staying tuned. Once again, our conversation this morning is on the presidency and the dignity of that office. Like we all know, there's a lot of responsibility attached to the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, although many of us are not aware of some of these responsibilities. But then, even as servants of the people, there is a way and manner we should speak to the office as well as the individual occupying that office. I do agree that we have freedom of expression as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended, but then the freedom of expression is not absolute. So how well should we relate with those occupying that office, and what should be the tone and manner of our relationship with our leaders? We have with us this morning in the studio Professor Rotimi Oladile, former National President, NIPR, is also a policy development strategist. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so like you know, we know that the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is very, very powerful, as we can see in the Constitution of Nigeria as of 1999. But the perception of most Nigerians about our leaders, especially those occupying this office, is not really, really good, both past and present. So what are the factors that you think are responsible for this perception about our president and some of our leaders in this part of the world?
Well, to start with, I want you to know that any leadership that allows rumor to take charge of information will actually collapse overnight. Because you need more money to buy rumor extinguisher than fire extinguisher. And the reason is because when non-professionals handle information for leadership and leadership for information, the knowledge base, if not parallel, there will be chaos. There's a need for parallelism in communication, structure-wise, from the consumer and also the provider, and then it should be reciprocal.
Who is the consumer here and who is the provider?
The consumer here are the masses. The provider is the government. So if you put a round peg in round holes, you will minimize the crisis. That is why Nigerian Institute of Public Relations does not joke at breeding professionals that will live and manage tomorrow. But unfortunately, most of our political bigwigs will not look at professional side to pick their advisors for media jobs and diplomacy jobs. So when you don't do that, it's like you are using the wrong tools for the right assignment. But we thank God that it has reduced drastically under this administration. And we look forward to seeing more of that.
Okay, so what makes the office of the President of Nigeria unique beyond its constitutional powers now?
It is historical. It is cultural. It is religious. It is psychological. It is actually communal. So if you look at those descriptions, you will agree with me that leadership in African content is even far beyond any other race in the world. Africans don't joke with leadership. We don't. We are one of the most highly organized human beings created by God Almighty. Because a very small armlet will not address your problem unless you are represented by a credit-worthy elder who has his balance, his weight, and his relevance within that community. So our leadership cannot be taken for granted, irrespective of what. And that is why the disciplinary process is painstaking, is very, very judicious, objective, respectable, and of course, applicable. So all this makes our leadership different from any other race.
Okay, is it true that sometimes, as some of us, we tend to abuse the simplicity of our leaders and the fact that we have access to social media to disrespect the office as well as the individual occupying the office?
Well, it happens every day. It's unfortunate. The nation growing under the armpit of technology worsens the case. But ordinarily in our traditional posture, we will not do it. Because the whole community looks at the child as the future. So we care for them, we discipline them when it is necessary. But when you have morals removed from curriculum of education, and then freedom, so-called, replaces it. But it's not freedom. It is actually maladjustment, as educationists will call it. So in situations like that, it becomes a failing system where a 21-year-old boy can slap a 71-year-old man. Mm-hmm. And he say, well, what will you do? The court is there. Let's go to court. Mm-hmm. So you can see the opposite use of positive instrument and establishment. That is what is happening.
Instrument like social media?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Social media and money. Because social media alone doesn't spoil. Somebody could be compensated for slapping my sister. So I'll now give the person 10,000. So at least you disgrace that. That's good.
Wow.
So money, social media, those two.
Now, okay, earlier you talked about public communications. I want us to take a look at public communication, the body language of the president, and of course, the personal conduct of the president. How does it shape the dignity of that office? The body language, public communication, and the personal conduct of the president himself. How does it shape the dignity of that office?
They are very, very germane in achieving credible and dignified status for leadership. But it's not picked on the street. It is picked from the feedback of those people leadership is trying to lead. So the feedback on their daily lifestyle, provisions, constitutional rights, promises fulfilled by present and past governments, all those we shape. And then we give the right shape and shaping even the people that are expecting. Because expectation is so high in every society that has leadership. It's normal. It's a natural course that expectations must be very high. Because they are stakeholders. They meant to achieve something before they came in and say, oh, we are following you or we are supporting you. So a leader shouldn't take that for granted. And that is the reason why recently I commend the expenses being run on different campaign, private sector, public sector, because when private sector sees that public sector is going right, is doing what is right, they also come in to feed into it and spend their own budget to support, because they have seen that this is a good cause. What am I saying? If you look at some of the adverts and the slogans being run now by National Orientation Agency,
yes,
it has never been so. After Professor Jerry Ghana, we never had this. Exactly. I never even remember some years that agency was existing.
Yes.
But recently you see that there are professionals now in charge. And then if you look at the Minister of Information himself, you see that he's patience and organization personified. He doesn't rush into anything. He consults professionals. He also takes advice. It's not just about making noise. It's not about promising what is not achievable. You could see that in the years past, there are some leaders that were given nicknames because of what they do, because of the lifestyle, because of the work style, how you do your job, how you talk to people, how you address the crowd. They will give you different names. And that is why it is important for the nation to recognize leadership for branding and branding for leadership.
I like that. Leadership for branding and branding for leadership.
Yes.
So how damaging can a poor communications team be for the office of the presidency? Because when you look at the communication team of Mr. President, we have seen some goof coming from that team a couple of times.
Yes.
One that is quite recent is that of the NTA where the federal government made announcement appointing certain people, and at the end of the day, it was reversed. We also went somewhere in Japan, wherein the stand of Nigeria was empty, and Mr. Bayo Ononuga had to come out to defend that, okay, the event is for 3 days, and there was really no activity slated for that particular day when those pictures and videos were taken. So if the communication team is not able to manage the office of Mr. President well, how damaging can that be for that office as well as the individual occupying the office?
That is where professionalism comes in again. You know, I started by saying that you will need more money to buy rumor extinguisher if you put wrong people in the right place. So, because the money for fire extinguisher will not be enough to put rumor extinguisher. You can put fire inside here off with concerted efforts within 2 or 1 hour, depending on what you are doing. Whether you are using pill to fetch water or you are using automatic setting. But when it comes to rumor or no information or wrong information, lack of information or wrong information or rumor entirely, any of the 3 that comes into the system can ruin the system within 1 minute. The issue of branding and reputation could be understood by my theory of balloon theory of reputation, which I discussed in one of my write-ups some 5-6 years ago. If you blow up a balloon, beautiful balloon, every child around want to play with it, isn't it? But take a needle and just puncture it. What happened? 1 second, the balloon is gone. That happens to our reputation in most times, especially in agencies of government where there are no professionals managing it. Because when you call a refrigerator engineer to come and service your car, because they are both engineers, are you achieving? When you ask a pharmacist to come to the to theater to come and perform surgery. Yeah, he's within the industry, but his role is different, his training is different, his background is different. So this is what is still happening to some extent. But there is a big collaboration ongoing within the federal government and Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. If you have been there in the media for the last 20-25 years, we don't disrecognize you. But we are saying, come on board, take a dose of sanitization professionally, get schooled, get certified, so that if you now make any mess, we can identify you, retrain you or punish you or drive you out of the system. And I want to refer a case. When I was president of the institute, Central Bank of Nigeria under the then Emir of Kano received my letter that we were not going to allow them to employ non-professionals in CBN as publication manager. He responded very well. I said, Central Bank is an organization that is regulatory, partially by nature. So we are also regulatory. So we should not find an offender in the regulatory circle. So the reply was that we have taken your advice. We are sending to you 7 candidates already interviewed for employment within our system for your verification and confirmation. That alone makes me to have very hallowed respect for that emir. What I'm saying here is that this government has done much enough. They are still doing more, but they need positive information management. In an international occasion, I advise African setting, not just Nigeria. Anywhere you want to run public relations for your nation, for your company, for your agency, it is high time we developed that reason to say this is the way we want to go, and everybody must share it. You have to share the dream and missions, the visions of the creators. Find it out. I'm happy they have returned history now to school. It's because we were doing history as literacy subject. History is not literacy subject. History is a social engineering subject, which find out the fault of yesterday, remove it from what we are doing today, and improve what we are doing today to make tomorrow better. Beautiful. That's my definition of history. And if you look at that definition, you discover that we are not talking of storytelling. Now, Nigeria, when we take something, we take it with all, even without understanding it totally. Storytelling. Which story are you telling? You didn't say positive storytelling, no. Just say storytelling. To me, storytelling is diversionary, is misleading. Yeah, which story? Nigeria want to tell sweet story, good story, achievement story. So it is, I'm pissed off anytime somebody tells me, well, we are doing storytelling. I'm not part of that.
Okay, now talking about past cases, because I know you made mention of a past case that you had with the CBN governor. I want us to take a look at Nigeria's past presidents. I want you to please share an example where the office of the president was undermined or upheld, and what lessons should we draw from such cases? Let's just take one.
Every government leadership of this nation had suffered that problem, even beyond Nigeria. You remember that our respected late President Buhari was referred to as Baba Go Slow.
Exactly.
Because of his self-organization, diligent manner of handling affairs. So, but he was too slow for that generation because they are riding Okada and Keke. So I can understand why they are faster than him. But apart from that, even my respected late father now, who brought me up professionally, that is Sir Michael Otedola. During his governorship in Lagos, that same Baba Slow was his nickname.
You referred to him as...
Sure.
Oh, wow.
For those who are grown up to remember, he used to be called Baba Slow. So Buhari wasn't the first to be called that. But you see, leadership at that level, when it comes to public fund, you cannot stop it. Even the American describing it as the best democracy in the world. See what we are saying to Trump. And it's not the first time. It's the first time, the same thing. So jokes can come up, but it's not abusive. That one is even to show you that we know him, we recognize him, we know his style. We can predict him. So he's our father, he's our leader. He's doing his own. We just pray that he ends well. But it's different from where you are antagonistic, where you are picking the elder or the leader for impunity. No, that will not be acceptable. Because he's a human being. He will make mistakes, yes. If you have a better advice, send it. I've sent so many pieces of advice to many governors in the past, even before I became anything and so on. I had 3 governors that were very fond of me, who happened not to be from the western side. But they would listen. And what if they would tell you reason why they are going ahead to do it? I remember a particular governor who wanted to sink borehole, 160 boreholes in 3 local governments. And there was no hospital at all in about 5 of the local governments.
Wow. And
when the case came to me, I said, Your Excellency, if I were you, I would do half of the borehole, 80, and I would build 1 hospital. And I would build 3 health centers. When we were in primary school growing up, we used to go to health centers. It would be around the corner of the villages to take our worm expeller, take our paracetamol and so on. So if you cannot give them an elephant, give them a rabbit, but let them chew meat, because they have teeth. Yes.
Okay, so what do you call this recent development between Mr. President and Omoyele Sowore? In a particular tweet, he actually tagged Mr. President a criminal. So what is the position of public relations as regards name calling and the fact that we have somebody who is liberal as our president, like Wike said in one of his recent interviews? Should we actually abuse that privilege of freedom of expression by calling a sitting president a criminal without any evidence?
Well, I really felt that to be at the highest level of what I would call speech mannerism and abuse of parental concern, or because the man we are talking about is so much experienced that he knows how to revolve insult if he wants to. But he's so busy on serious things that he will not spare 1 minute to discuss somebody who abused him. But on a serious note, if our brother Sowore actually did that with intention to achieve whatever aim it is and so on, I think we should all advise him that it is about too high. Because it's like you walk to your grandfather or even your immediate father and say you are stupid. So, and that cannot be found in the cultural dictionary of Yorubas and even Nigerians generally. We should not take politics too far. Those of us who witnessed the damages of politics in the 60s will not want any part of the country to be set ablaze again, either by your tongue or by your action or by your persuasion of the youths who should be thinking about becoming useful tools for building tomorrow. For me, I'm so much concerned because I have nowhere else to go. Even when I was younger, I refused to take any other passport apart from the green. I can only go and come in, go and back. So if we see Nigeria as our home, and it's truly our home, we should do everything to protect it. And one of the protections this nation needs is care for the elderly. Not just giving them support, even caring for them. I would have expected, because I remembered my encounter with Baba Obasanjo. Yeah, if Baba sees me now, he will crack a joke to remind me of my rascality. I was a rascal journalist. I was a very, very rascal journalist, and I knew as at that time. He will say, if you misbehave, I will lock you up in my toilet. And when he's not say, okay, I'm not locking you, come and take your own piece of roasted yam. Yeah, my first cousin was general manager in his firm, Engineer Iwali of blessed memory. So I used to go to the place regularly. And anytime he invited us as media executives, when I was in Nigerian Tribune newspapers with my colleagues will ask any hard question, but in a respectable way. Exactly. In a manner that he will first of all say, hey, I know where you are going, but I will not answer your question. I know where you are going, but I can tell you A, B, C, D. That was our rapport level. I remember so many interviews of my very bosom friend, Imaagu, of a Champion newspaper. Yes, that's another, because I'm on the air, but he knows that what I call myself is what he is. Anywhere he is now that's hearing that, he understands. So we used to throw banters, we used to ask questions.
Leaders, but in a civil way.
Yeah, and they would give us more than we require. There was another situation that was bad. A military governor of a particular state, I would not mention, he invited us to come by 11 a.m. Media heads. We were there around 9:30, 10. At least keeping gap and possibly getting some scoops before our other colleagues will come. But we didn't see this governor until 2:15. Whoa. The worst of all, that no aide was ready to come and say, sorry media people, sorry my colleagues, the governor is held up at so and so. There was no communication. So at the end of, when he now came, he said, the first statement said, yes, are you people there? I was told you people are angry. It is when I arrived that it's 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And I said, my colleagues, that we have gotten our headlines for tomorrow.
Exactly. That's a fantastic
Excuse
headline.
me.
Yes.
So, and they agreed with me. And that was what came out on a Sunday morning.
So what was the headline? What was the headline then? What was the headline? Just
It is when the governor comes that is time. And then we now ask, has your governor arrived?
Oh, wow.
So any state that didn't answer.
Okay, so I want us to take a look at the role of political parties and other arms of government in protecting the dignity of the presidency. What should be their roles? Are they even performing these roles as they should?
Yes, no. My answer is yes, because there are some with focus who are doing it. They may not be doing it perfectly, but for the intention they had, for their effort they've made, for selection of human capital they are using, we could see seriousness and focus on their part. And then we have those who still sees political positions as opportunity for me and my family to be rich. So we still have them.
But isn't that what is playing out there? When you look at the quality of life of political leaders, be it local government chairmen or governors or members of National Assembly and state assemblies as well, they live in luxury, which is a sharp contrast to the quality of standard of living of the people that they are meant to serve. And so when people come at these people, criticizing them, sometimes using foul language to describe some of them, are they not justified? Because you are spending public funds to make yourself comfortable at the detriment of the people.
Well, to me, two wrongs will never make a right. Even though we are not comfortable with them doing it, we should look for the civic, civil, and of course, constitutional means of addressing that. It is not by going with them and then entangling each other, trying to showcase brutality and so on the highway. That shouldn't be. There are so many ways. There are some countries where you don't need to even be seen that you are voting, because everything is electronics. And from any part of the world you are, you can vote for your nation when this national election comes in. It will be nice when people see that they cannot get to the office they covet because of their attitude. So if we re-engineer our selection process for leadership, we might find ourselves eliminating huge percentage of corruption overnight. It's achievable. It's a choice. It's a choice if you want it.
Okay, so now, presently, the Vice President is in New York representing the President. So that brings me to the question, how important is the conduct of Nigeria's President, or let's say Vice President, on the international stage? How does that, affect our reputation as a country?
Well, there are two ways to look at it. If you are looking at presidency, as you put in your topic, if you are looking at the presidency, you are looking at the institution.
Yes.
You are looking at the corporate entity called presidency. So, yeah, it has a senior equal member. It has somebody we can see as coordinator, as the driver. But you discover that the vice president position had been redefined, where economic matters mostly
exactly.
now are portfolioed into
that office.
And this government has been using that from day one. You discover the vice president holding his meeting here, and even during the last regime of late Muhammadu Buhari, we also tasted a lot, even though with some political undertones. But in this case, there's no political undertone. To my knowledge, if there's any, it could be very trivial that they were able to put it off within few hours. But that shows that power sharing, role assignment, power sharing, and coordination, they are working together. So it makes me happy to say, well, I'm from a country where the vice president can represent the president without blinking an eye.
Okay, Jibila, sorry, before I know you want to ask a question, but this is, I'm curious about this now. So if you go on Twitter, on X now, you see a lot of young Nigerians, criticizing the president. If you go on Facebook, if you, even on radio, on TV. So how should for the current president now, most times he ignores.
Yes.
If I watched a video where he said he does not even go on social media again. Because he knows they were abusing. So how should the president respond to all this criticism, whether good or bad, whether positive or, constructive criticism, or the one that is so terrible? How should he respond to it?
Well, I will tell you that it's a matter of fun, really. It's funny, but it's a matter of fun. You see, during our own time, maybe some of you are also part of that. You remember that our own slogan of journalism during our own setting was publish and be damned. Have we? Yeah. Publish and be damned. But if it will end you in jail, just do it, because you owe the society telling this bitter truth and so on. When last did you hear that?
Journalist, Jibola, you want to go to jail? So, Joy.
For spending 7 days at Uyo prison, because
you spent 7 days at
because I wrote about the money they used to give us in school was our support from government. What you use the bursary, God bless you, because you enjoy it. That's why you remember it. Those who enjoyed bursary will realize that we fought for it, because what we did was to use the student unionism to fight for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went to jail during the military
because
era.
I was one that led Niger State and Cross River. So Niger was Niger and Kwara, I think they were sit together, about 3 states. But for Calabar, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and one other state were grouped together. And I went there to hold meeting with student union leaders in all the institutions there, and we marked a date where we did a march, roaming around the whole street and so on. So the governor, deputy governor, was then on seat. Matthew Etebet or something was the one that was there. By the time we were in the cell, one of the police officers who happened to be an activist also in Nsukka, and we know very well before he joined the police, said, "What are you people doing?" I said, "Well, this is the situation." He said, "Your Excellency, the more they stay here, the more crowd you pull for this exercise. So it's better you talk to them and let them go." So, and they committed. They were given 360 naira, and then they were able to get 140 from it, and it was settled. What I'm trying to say is that the media for your age is what you will use to fight for your age. So don't bother about what social media will not be there in this particular form forever. People will be tired of all this pseudo information, lies, and rumors. For example, if newspapers are back now to the table, you cannot read all newspapers. No, you will be so selective.
Yeah, definitely.
So the same thing. For example, some of these social media, we feed them. Let me give you an example of what we do. Those of us who are professionals and non-professional, and which government is not enjoying. Look at our telecoms. Our culture has been studied very well and used to milk money from us. What is the meaning of, listen to this greeting, happy Sunday, happy Saturday, happy weekend.
Yes.
And
happy new month.
Happy new month.
We never used to have all those greetings before.
It's from our culture model. Yeah, the model that after our culture, we can greet and greet.
Exactly.
So the telecom people too decided to put the words in our mouth, but they didn't give you money to do it. You are going to use your money. If you look at all your happy this, happy that,
using your
calculate
data.
it on the month.
Yeah, that's true.
Multiply by 1 million Nigeria. Don't go too far from the 200 million.
Oh.
1 million.
Oh,
That shows you.
exactly.
Okay, but because of our time in anchoring this conversation this morning, there's a trust gap between the leaders and the led. So in restoring the dignity of the office of the presidency, what are those things that you feel that this government should put in place to bridge that gap?
Number one, there must be a very, very close rapport between teenagers and young adults by the presidency. The presidency loses nothing by talking to children across this nation for 15 minutes or 30 minutes on all our media. Let them feel fatherly touch. Let's use our culture to fight and solve our problem. That's what I'm saying. Because if you can expect the president to talk during environmental sanitation or 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after, and children can glue to it the way they glue to the other love something. Then you can also see the president playing table tennis with 1 or 2 children in the villa. And then he sat down and he was asking questions. Some of them don't even believe that it's too late in Abuja. There was a governor they accused he was always in
Abuja.
in Dubai. And when they said that to him, he said, okay, when he gets to Dubai, he will call. Then 2 months again, he will call. And he will ask them, journalists and policemen are advised to go and check his itinerary. Even Baba Obasanjo did one that I can remember very well. When Ita Okusaga was becoming a nuisance on government, they said Baba Obasanjo kept so many people in Ita Oku prison, which had been abandoned since Awolowo era. And it was not true. I just decided to take an helicopter and then ask media people
To follow him.
go there. And when we got there, I said, well, this is Itaoko for you. We couldn't even land. We were low, looking at everything, dilapidated all over, covered with bushes. So this is Itaoko prison. See that lizard? It's one of the prisoners. I turned him to this lizard. See this canker. So everybody was like, this is it. We even felt sad ourselves. We became empathic. Because there was no truth. Nothing like that. So Baba himself should talk to the grandchildren. He should be free to talk to them.
And that's what you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
communication, which is key. We must thank you very much, Professor Rotimi Oladele, former National President, NIPR and Policy Development Strategies, for giving us your own perspective on the presidency and the dignity of the office. We'll take a very short break at this moment. When we come back, Joy will be taking you through our conversation on the show. Stay with us.